Hello, so my name is Milani Brits, and I'm going to take you along with me on a remote viewing of the Halls of Amenti. Now, if you haven't seen part one of this whole exploration or adventure that we're on, during that video, which was about 30 minutes long, I opened the Akashic records and I asked the guides and the record keepers there specific questions about the halls of Amenti. And during that session, we got specific information that I am going to use in this remote viewing to actually help guide us and along our exploration. And then what I thought would be fun, since they indicated that it would be beneficial for us to be able to access the energy of the halls of Amenti, is I'm actually going to try and take you with me. So the first thing is, if you haven't seen that first video, it might be beneficial to do and go and watch it. But I am going to tell you what you need to know specifically about the structure and the keys and so on. And then I'll also sort of guide you along so that you can come with me as we remote view this and see if we can access the energy. So, the first thing that's important was just during my question and answer session in the Akashic records about this, they showed me almost like this structure that I've depicted here. So the first one is this is the Great Pyramid of Giza, and there's this almost golden ribbon of energy that connects it to the halls of Amenti, which is a vibrational space beyond space and time, but that was created specifically almost like a regional library of information and energy. And it is connected to a few places on Earth. So they showed me three golden ribbons going. One, I managed to figure out goes sort of almost in the direction of Mount Shasta, California, USA, that side. Not sure if it's exactly that, but it is, that's the closest I can get to sort of identifying that location. The other one goes north from the pyramid up somewhere Europe, UK direction. They didn't show me exactly what this location is. The other one that when we asked about Atlantis, is Atlantis used to be connected as well. But because of what happened to Atlantis, that link is now dormant. So they showed it to me almost like a black ribbon. It's not active anymore. We can't access it. So what we're going to do, oh, and then in the middle of this was almost like this nuclear reactor core type of thing that has energy. This has consciousness. It is aware, and there are consciousness or entities or energies around that is keeping this structure intact and functioning, etc., even though we don't use it in the same way that it was used in days gone by. So that's the important thing about the structure. So we're going to access the GPS coordinates of the Pyramid of Giza, but then we're going to follow this golden ribbon into the halls of Amenti so that we can actually then explore this during our remote viewing. Let me just sit down properly. There we go. Okay. So the other thing that came out of that channeling from the Akashic records about this is that this, believe it's called the Eye of Horus. I think when I initially saw it in my channeling, I said Eye of Ra. It might actually even be that, I'm not sure. But I believe it's the Eye of Horus, this. And this is a key towards the halls of Amenti, but it is also almost like a map of the halls. And what they've shown me since I've now looked at this is that this is almost like this the top part of the eye is earth and the surface of the earth. And then there's this white part below it, and that's the vibrational barrier that I spoke of in that video. And when you pass that, you actually get dropped right into that sort of round core of the eye. But then the rest of this is almost a depiction of the structure of some of the places that we can access. So we're going to try and follow this map and see where it leads us. And the other interesting thing was that this eye on the dollar note of the US currency is actually linked to this somehow energetically, which means that the dollar and what it represents maybe even gets energy. There's some sort of energy exchange still between that and the halls of Amenti. So let's go and see how we are going to access it. So my remote viewing process was developed pretty much by trial and error, but there are three things that you need physically, and then I also ask three archangels for their help in terms of protecting my space and my energy as I do this. So, if you want to pause after this, you can go and get your stuff ready. So, what I have, what I normally use, sorry for the noise, is a candle, and then I write a little note with the coordinates, the GPS coordinates of the place that I'm trying to remote view. And I'll put that under the candle. And then I also use like a crystal. In this case, I've got a quartz crystal here. Any crystal or rock can do. It just sort of strengthens the earth connection. So you also need something to light your candle. So go and grab those things, pause if you need to, and then we're going to go ahead and prepare our energy, and then we are going to start accessing the GPS coordinates of the Pyramid of Giza. So the first thing that I normally do to prepare my energy is I make sure that my feet are on the ground, and then that bottom yellow arrow is I imagine energy flowing up from the earth into my body, up through my body, and out my head. And then it cascades almost like a fountain around me. But what it starts to do is you'll see in the middle here, there's this almost gray dome. I'll imagine that that light falls and there's some sort of a barrier by my feet, and then it starts filling up this dome that I'm standing in with this golden, yellow, or white light. And so as I breathe, I'm pulling the energy through from my feet up my body out into this cascading fountain. And then as I do that, it starts slowly filling this dome in which I am in. And so let's first do this so that we have prepared our energy bodies so that we are protected. You can never do stuff like this if you are not protected energetically. So draw up as you breathe in, draw up the energy through your body out from your crown. And it's almost like a little fountain of beautiful white light that cascades around on the outside. So it's inside, outside. And then you're sitting in this dome and it sort of starts filling it up as it passes through your body and drips down or falls down on the outside. And so just imagine that for a moment with me. I'm going to be quiet to let you visualize. But just fill your dome with protective white light that you're drawing through your body from the earth. Maybe it's up to your knees now. Just fill your dome. Drawing from the earth. Maybe your dome is halfway full now. Just keep filling it up. Chest level. Until it is right above here. So the whole, you're protected and covered by this light. And so what we're going to ask is that Archangel Michael, who is the angel of protection, help us protect the energy integrity, keep us safe as we go exploring the halls of Amenti. And then I also always invoke Archangel Metatron because he is the archangel that's responsible for the Akashic records. And this is sort of an offshoot of the Akashic records, so it's very applicable. But I normally do that anyway for my other remote viewing explorations, even if it doesn't have a direct link to the Akashic records, just because I believe that he facilitates the flow of information. And so we ask Archangel Metatron to facilitate for us so that we receive the knowledge that we are supposed to for the highest good of all, and that we gain the wisdom and knowledge that we are meant to have at this time. And then I'm also asking Archangel Sandalphon, who's the angel of earth, to anchor our little domes, our energy domes, our bodies, our consciousness into the GPS coordinates that we're going to use for the Pyramid of Giza. So he's actually going to help us with the transporting our consciousness to that point and then anchoring it there. So this is the coordinates that you want to use, that you want to write on your little paper. It is 29 degrees, 58 minutes, 45 seconds north, 31 degrees, 8 minutes, 3 seconds east. As you can see, I've written mine. Just once you've written that, put it underneath your candle, put your crystal on top of that, and then we light our candle. And as we light our candle, we set the intention for our consciousness to be transported to that place, and we ask Archangel Sandalphon to anchor our awareness and our consciousness and our energy there in that space. And so just for a moment, settle there and feel. To me, the pyramid feels busy. There's lots of people around, but we're not necessarily interested in the pyramid. So I'm going to sort of direct my consciousness to go down to the deepest part of the pyramid that is accessible to me physically. Just go through the little hallways and stairways and shafts even. Some of them are shafts, some of them are not a space where you would be able to walk. Just burrow deeper, deeper until you get to the deepest point. Okay. And now what I feel is that the energy is much stronger than it was at the top. At the top, it was very much dispersed, but now I can feel pressure on the top of my head actually as I sort of settle into this point, which is at the bottom. And now I just want to feel with my awareness for almost like a golden thread that connects me to the halls of Amenti. And then I want to direct my consciousness to follow that little ribbon until I can actually access the halls of Amenti. And I'm going to use my words to say that it is my intention to access the halls of Amenti. And I suggest that you also speak this out loud. And I am the light. In me there is no darkness. For me there are no limitations. And my intention is the gathering of knowledge and healing and energy for the highest good of me and everybody connected to me and to this space. And now it almost feels as if I'm sinking, as if my feet, or it's not my real feet, but as if I'm sinking into the earth, just following almost like a wormhole through space. And then suddenly I'm in a huge, it's almost like a sphere. It's not really a circle, feels like. And I believe we are now in the eye part, the entrance hall of the Halls of Amenti. So this is where the red cross is on this diagram. So join me for a moment here and just feel what you feel energetically. What do you feel around you? Who do you feel around you? How does the energy feel? Just settle into this energetic space and feel, how does your body feel? How does your mind feel? How do your emotions feel? What do you experience in your body and in your awareness? So there's a ringing in my ears, which is very similar to how I experienced Akashic records. I did close them after my channeling, so I'm not no longer connected to them. But this feels very similar to how the Akashic records feels to me, which makes sense if it's actually sort of like a regional library and the Akashic records is the main library, as they told me. Okay, and it feels as if there is some sort of an energy that is asking for my and our intentions. So I just want to make that clear that we have been told that there is healing and knowledge that is available here for those who can shift their vibrations enough to access it. And this is in aid of humanity's ascension and growth and healing, and our own ascension, growth, and healing. Okay, so we have the go ahead. So, what I want you to do now is to just follow me. I'm going to move my awareness to point one, which is the blue point to the left, and just follow. Almost feels like a corridor or something that way. There's these huge, it feels like doors or some sort, but they're massive. The whole space feels very, very big to me. Okay, so I'm just directing my consciousness towards point one, following this corridor. And it's almost like there are doors, but they are not open. So I just want to see what it's like when we get to point one. I think these might be like library type of, like rooms for different civilizations. So you would have a door for Atlantis, or a door for Lemuria, or a door for, I don't know. There's quite a few, and they're not labeled so that I can see. But if you want to come back and you have particular links, or it's in your pathway to actually access some of the wisdom of some of these civilizations, it might be worthwhile to come back and try and access some of these rooms and see what you get. Okay, let's move to point one. Okay, and I'm developing a headache. It's almost like a stabbing pain in my head as we move. So I just want to ask my guides, if you're experiencing any discomfort in your body, just ask your guides to help you alleviate it and shift your vibration so that it's not as uncomfortable for you. Okay. So one seems to be another sort of roundish chamber. It's almost like a domed ceiling, and there's all sorts of designs and things there. So let's just hang out here, standing in the middle of the dome. It feels as if it's doing something with our energy. I'm not sure exactly what. Just let it happen. I've got a discomfort in my neck as well, certainly. It's like almost my head is suddenly too heavy for my body. It's definitely doing something here. I wish you were here with me, then you could tell me what you're experiencing. You know how divers have to, when they resurfacing, they have to stop at certain spots in the ocean to almost acclimate or to get their oxygen levels ready. I don't know. This feels like a place that we need to stop in order to sort of adjust our vibration in a way so that we're able to go deeper. So let's just wait a moment or so more. Lots of stuff happening with my head. There's a lot of pressure. I don't know if you also feel that. Just breathe through it. We're safe, and this is a benevolent process, so it's not dangerous. It really feels like energy is activating all through my body. I can feel it in my legs now, sort of upper thighs. But the energy is moving. It's like ants crawling all over my skin. But I'm very attuned to energy. You might not experience it in the same way, and if you don't, that's fine. Okay, so let's move to the pink 3. So pink violet 3. So just direct your consciousness with mine towards the lower parts of this structure. If at any point you feel that it's getting too much for you, you can actually just ask Archangel Sandalphon to release you and you'll return back to where your body is. So you can never get stuck there, or if you get scared, you always can escape quite easily. It's like just asking, releasing it. Okay, let's move to 3. Okay. I feel sort of more used to the pressure in my head now. It's still there, but it's I don't know, maybe just more used to it. So it's leading down. And then at 3, there's almost like a corridor that branches off, that goes back in the same direction that we just come from. And that's where I want to go next. So I want to go to the red 4. So turning towards the right and almost doubling back a little bit when we get to that entrance. So just follow. There's nothing really at 3 other than the junction. Just follow it, going deeper and deeper. Okay, and as we get, I don't know, as we sort of get closer to 4, it sort of feels to me as if it's getting more difficult for me to move forward. So almost like the air is getting thicker. So instead of our normal air, it almost feels like syrup or something that I'm trying to move through. So see how far you get. I just want to try and push through a little bit more. It feels as if there's some energy stuff that's happening at point 4. You know how they, in that analogy, they told us that it was almost like a nuclear power station. So in that case, then 4 would be almost like the core reactor thing. Maybe the place where they went to get, you know, eternal life, or to heal their body so that they could live, a further lifetime. I don't know if I'm able to actually get there because I'm moving forward so slow now. It's like wading through mud. So my forward progress is really stalled. I'm not sure if I can actually get there to actually be able to see what is happening there. So I'll just go as far as I can, and then it feels as if that is the core of this place. That's where the energy comes from. It's like a nuclear reaction that's happening over and over and over and over again. Okay. I You can keep trying if you want. I think I've gone as far as I can. I'm not quite there yet. I'm sort of on the curve, and the energy is too thick. I can't really get through. Maybe I'm not really supposed to get through. Okay. So I'm going to turn back and then walk back along the corridor from 4 to 3, back to where the junction is. If you still want to stay there, you can just pause until you're ready to come back with me, and then we'll go to the rest. Okay. So I'm back at the corridor, the bottom part of the eye. And now I want to turn right, and then I want to look and see what is happening at that where yellow 5 is. Okay. And that definitely don't feel like something we should go and explore. It's almost like you can't, because I believe that you have to be dead to go there. I think it's you know how the Egyptians used to believe that their souls went to the underworld or something? I think that's, I don't know, there's like Egyptian souls or stuff, but it's almost like you can't be, you have to leave your body behind if you want to go in there. So we're not going to do that. It doesn't feel like it would be particularly safe or pleasant, or even allowed to access that part, the sort of five part. Okay, so let's move to green 2. And we have another, again, almost circular space, feels like. But this feels, I don't know, you know, technically we're supposed to be underground, but this is the dome that covers this almost feels, you know, like glass or plastic, but it's see through. And you can almost see the whole cosmos, you know, the universe, the stars. I don't know, it just feels like almost like a viewing chamber of some sorts where you would go to observe, I don't know. So it feels as if it's, you can direct it by your mind. So if you want to see something, you can lie down or sit down and lean back and then direct the screen, which is almost like this dome roof of this chamber, and it will show you stuff. And so it's almost like, you know, you can see the big bangs playing off, or you can direct it and ask it to show you the end of Atlantis, or how the pyramids were built, or, you know, all of these mysteries that we are not sure about. It's like a viewing, not a viewing deck, but a viewing chamber in a way, feels it like to me. And so you're welcome to come back at your own time to see what it is that you want to inquire about. Okay, so let's move from this to walk back towards the cross, where we came in, or the X. This place is very high vibration. I can feel the energy really messing with my senses. I can feel it in my body, and especially a lot of pressure around the head. So, what it looks like to me as we sort of arrive back at the center is that the one is almost for physical energy stuff, and then the two is almost for knowledge or mind stuff, and then four is where you, it's like the nuclear reactor, the energy source of this place that I wasn't able to get to. And then five is like not for us. It's like the halls of the dead or something. So before we leave, I just want to look around this space a little bit more and see what else is here. Because this is almost like the space where everybody arrives. It feels like we're receiving gifts, like the guardians or the caretakers are giving us something. It might not be immediately obvious what it is. It's almost like it will be like 3 days from now, this thought will suddenly pop up, and then you'll understand something, or you'll have this epiphany or knowledge that suddenly appears. It has to almost percolate through our energy in order for us to access it in a way. So I'm going to thank the guardians for allowing us. Some of us would like to come back to explore. That's okay. That's okay. You're welcome to come back using the same method. Okay. Now let's ask Archangel Sandalphon to release us and to anchor our energy back to wherever our body is at the moment. Make sure that you come back fully to your body, and I'd love if you put either in the comments or send me a message in some way, just what did you feel and experience? What did you think? I'm going to have to process what happened a little bit. Hopefully, it was as powerful for you as well. Sending you lots of love.